Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and welcome back to this next video. And this is actually a video in continuation of my previous videos on the small intestine. Now, in the part 1 on the small intestine, I told you that small intestine is a long, narrow and folded tube that extends from the stomach to the large intestine, and this is actually the region of the digestive system where most of the digestion and the absorption of the food take place. And it is very long, like 6.7 to 7.6 meters, and this is a very highly convoluted, which is contained in the central and lower abdominal cavity and supported by a thin membranous structure, which is called the mesentery. Now, the contraction and relaxation of the muscles of the small intestine, that is actually controlled by the parasympathetic system and the sympathetic system. The small intestine is divided into three major parts. The first region is known as the duodenum. The second and the largest part of the small intestine is known as the duodenum, and the third and the last part is known as the ileum. Now, in the duodenum, most of the secretions from the gallbladder, the liver and the pancreas, they are released in the duodenum, which actually helps in the neutralization of the acid that come from the stomach. And the secretion also contain enzymes which help in the digestion of the protein, carbohydrate and fats. And then I told you that the mucous membrane lining of the intestinal wall of the small intestine, it is actually thrown into these folds, and these folds are known as the plexi circularis, as you can see over here. And these plexi circularis, they are further projected into smaller structure which are known as the villi. So the plexi circularis are actually the projections of the mucosa. The villi are actually the projections of the plexi circularis. And the important function of these foldings and these projection is to increase the surface area of the small intestine. And when the surface area that is increased, that actually helps in the process of the digestion as well as in the process of the absorption. And the circular and the movement of the circular muscles and the longitudinal muscles of the intestinal wall, that actually help in the process of the churning and the rhythmic segmentation. And this rhythmic and the churning and the rhythmic segmentation is actually responsible for the peristaltic movement that you see in the small intestine, which push the food in the forward direction. And the second important function is that these movements, they are actually responsible for bringing the digested food with the absorbing surfaces so that they get absorbed into the body. Now, in this particular video, I want to focus on the function of two important hormones. One is known as the secretin, and the other one is known as the cholecystokinin. Now, when we say that the enzymes, they are released from the pancreas, from the liver and the gallbladder, or especially from the pancreas, they are released in the duodenum, which is helping in the neutralization of the stomach gastric juices, and also help in the digestion of the foods by providing enzymes to the duodenum. How the pancreas is actually activated for the release of the enzymes and the release of the neutralizing material for the stomach gastric juices. Now, what happens is that the enzymes that are active in the digestion of the carbohydrate, the fats and the proteins, they continuously flow from the pancreas through the ducts, and their flow is controlled by the vagus nerves and by the hormone, which is known as the secretin and the cholecystokinin. Now, what happens is that these two hormones, the secretin and the cholecystokinin, they are actually produced in the intestinal mucosa, and they are produced when the food enters into the duodenum. So the entrance of the food into the duodenum is actually working as a signal for the release of the secretin and the cholecystokinin. So these two hormones, they are produced by the intestinal mucosa, and they are released into the bloodstream by the secretory cells of the duodenum. Now, when these hormones, they reach the pancreas, so in the pancreas, the pancreatic cells, they get stimulated, and when they get stimulated in response to the entrance of the food into the duodenum, the pancreas is going to release a large amount of water, the bicarbonate, and these two are actually responsible for neutralizing the gastric juices from the stomach, and the digestive enzymes like the lipases, the proteases, the amylases, and those particular enzymes are then going for the digestion of the different kind of the food material like the carbohydrates, the proteins, and the lipids. Now, how the other secretions and the pancreatic lipases, how they work, how the secretions from the liver they work, I have a detailed video on that, and I'll share the link in the description. So if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.